this video, we will cover the 4 spatial zones and where their boundaries lie. We are all aware to a degree of our own personal space, however, not so much of perhaps other people. But for our own personal selves, we tend to become awkward, annoyed, or even defensive when someone does not seem to respect our spatial boundaries. These boundaries are known as spatial zones. There are 4 zones: the intimate zone, personal, social, and the public zone. The intimate zone extends out to 2 feet and is typically reserved for those who we are really close with, such as our family or our significant other. The next zone out is a personal zone and extends out to 4 feet. This is typically reserved for close friends, but may be invaded from time to time by others for actions such as introductions, and our textbook uses example of going in for a handshake. But these actions are typically corrected as a person pulls back into the social zone. The social zone goes as far out as 12 feet, and this is where the majority of our business relations reside in. So the majority of our relationships with our coworkers or with our managers. And the next and final zone is the public zone, which extends out further than 12 feet. This is typically where we keep our relations with strangers or anyone else who is not in the categories of the other 3 zones. As an example of the personal, social, and public zone, I will use a situation I was in earlier today. I was sitting at a coffee shop with my personal effects displayed out on the table and around me, such as my computer, notebook, coffee, and a few other items, to outline my personal zone, visibly signaling to other people that I do not want this space invaded. However, this was a small cafe with very narrow pathways. So even though my personal zone wasn't invaded, my social zone was often temporarily trespassed as people passed me by. But it was rather empty and devoid of people at the moment while I was there, so there were plenty of tables open. And when someone was passing me by to choose a table, they were not likely to choose a table directly next to me, which would keep us both in each other's social zones. Instead, they were much more likely to choose a table in the opposite corner of the room, or somewhere distant. This would place both of us in a much more comfortable public zone. Some people may be more comfortable with intrusions of these zones than other people. However, we should always keep these boundaries in mind when dealing with others to prevent awkward or uncomfortable situations which may influence our relationships with other people.